Well, this is a interesting one regarding this choice of game that I've chosen, because in this game the main character Sam has an aversion to being around other people, and he's actually got a phobia of being touched, of any physical contact with other human beings. I'm not quite that bad, and I don't think you are either, but it's kind of interesting. It's kind of relevant. So to get into this, the first thing I've got to do is got to share a theory that I've got, which is that come on, Sam, you can do it. Yeah, I've got a theory that basically, I think that there's a lot more people with, I think there are a lot more scapegoats than there are people who become extremely ill with C-PTSD. I think that I don't think every scapegoated person becomes ill, and this is a very touchy subject, and I know because I'm the same. Like, I hate the idea that it's my lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Fortitude. That I could have been, that I'm supposed to be stronger or something. I hate all that. You know, I find it very hard to live with the idea that, you know, I haven't had it, that anybody, I find it very hard to cope with the idea that anybody could cope with what I cope with, because that would make me out to be deficient, and that's very difficult, because what I've coped with was overwhelming for me. But that's the truth. That's the only truth that matters. That's what my therapist would have worked on me with. She would have said, well, it doesn't matter how other people would have coped with what you coped with. You're you. You were overwhelmed by it. That's all that that's all we have to work with. We don't need to concern ourselves with the fictional other person who would have coped with it. But and to be fair as well to all parties, we're also not looking at that moment the people that wouldn't have coped with it as well. There are people who might have completely disintegrated under the pressures that I or you were under, that may have had complete mental breakdown. I mean complete, like be hospitalised, you know, become histrionics or narcissists themselves, which of course is always arguable. Is the scapegoat victim just another form of narcissist? Not really, but okay. You know, we'll always keep an eye on that. We'll always question that, because if you don't question it, you're being narcissistic. But it's not, I don't think it's, I don't think it really holds up the scrutiny, but you have to consider everything. Anyway, definitely some narcissistic characteristics, because you've been risen by, but not clinically, not to the point where you are clinically narcissistic. Okay, that's my take on it. But yeah, I'm full of crappy, egocentric, competitive, petty thoughts, feelings, and you know, I'm trying to get the really good word for it. Kind of frailties. That's what they are. They're frailties. They're not compulsive, pathological, fear of losing my identity, you know, driven. I can't live in a world where sort of, you know, mandatory demands from the universe or reality to Although I was definitely a little bit more like that when I was younger and adolescent, but then I was an adolescent. And adolescents are, all adolescents have a narcissistic, sort of bent, usually, accepting the very, very best of us. Anyway, to get back to the point, getting on or not with people. I really went about this walk in a really rubbish way. I really went about this badly. I really tackled this mission, started this mission very, very badly. Okay, so this is my theory. I don't believe that all victims of narcissism, that all the target children in the world are parental narcissism. I don't believe that they all develop C-PTSD. I think some of them, they will be damaged. They will become very neurotic. They may have addiction issues as well. Okay, so it will affect them, but they won't necessarily get the whole full C-PTSD syndrome. Okay, the survivor syndrome. I don't think. Here's what I think is going on. I think the people in the community, the sort of people that are prepared to spend a lot of time watching videos on narcissism, spend a lot of time trying to solve the quandary that narcissistic abuse in your formative years creates. I think that these people have one of the derivations of the INFJ or the INFP personality type. And if you don't know anything about that, you almost certainly will do. If you don't know anything about that, obviously look into it. There's some really good videos on it. And there's a very good content creator called WENZIES, who does excellent videos on INFJ. She's brilliant. So check her out. I mean, she's really good, really helpful. So anyway, basically, I think that narcissistic parents have a particular adverse reaction to an INFJ child. I think it's particularly pronounced. It's a competitive relationship because basically the narcissist has to be superior, as we know, in all things. They have to be able to be the smartest person in the room, and they have to be able to satisfy themselves that I've messed this up, sorry. They have to better satisfy themselves that it's really tiresome, as anybody that has been raised by a narcissist will know. Just repairing this case with some special case hardening spray to protect it from the corrosion. Hopefully that'll be okay now. The INFJ is first of all, INFJs tend to sort of infuriate people anyway. In fact, the IN should stand for infuriate as much as it stands for introverted. And it's because we have this adjacent way of looking at things. I've not done the test. I should do the test. I'm lazy. I don't do enough research. I don't do enough tests. But what have I done? But basically, I'm pretty sure that it's that I'm an INFJ. I'm very judgmental, very introverted. INFJs, they like to have a lot of time on their own. They like to, they find it hard to be around other people. And I think one of they're highly empathic, which of course is, and I think there's far too much talk about empathy and super empaths in the community. I think it's out of control. I think it's really, really, I think it's actually really problematic. I've got to be honest. I don't want to go down there because it's full of ghosts. So I'm going to try and I'm going to try and go the long way around. Which is kind of why I chose this mission to do this talk, because, well, it's strangely peaceful playing this game, talking to you guys, because you don't feel this weird desire to rush. It becomes like this conversational, meditative thing. Whereas when I do, I'm really enjoying it, I'm afraid. But I'm sorry if you don't like it, but it's working for me, and I'm going to just keep making a few of these until I figure out, what have I done? For God's sake. I'm going to keep doing these until either I decide I don't like doing it this way, or other people say they don't like me doing it this way, and even then, it might be the right way for me to do it. I've lost a piece of gear. So, oh dear. Got to collect these crystals. So, I think that's the first thing. I personally think that the INFJ scapegoat is the scapegoat that develops C-PTSD. That's what I think. It might not be right, I might be wrong, but it's what I think. You know, I think it makes sense because we do infuriate people, INFJs. We make people cross. And then added to that, there's the abuse issues, and then there's the C-PTSD. Now, what both of those do, the abuse issues and C-PTSD do, is they create a sense of desperation to be believed, because we've got challenges that are unusual. Like, we normally develop at least one major health condition. With me, it's severe chronic fatigue syndrome, which has, you know, really made my quality of life is very poor as a result of that. Do you see how my footsteps have been kept helpfully by the game? Anyway, so look up INFJ if you don't know what it is already. And obviously C-PTSD is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm assuming you'd know about that. So then we come to the title of this video, which is, why is it so hard to get on with people? Well, I think, right, the main thing is if we are an INFJ scapegoat, C-PTSD person, okay, it wasn't very good, then the first thing is just that we infuriate some people, not all people, but we infuriate competitive people. And most people have a base level of competitiveness. It's not weird for people to be competitive, you know. It isn't one of the nicest things about human nature. It's quite ugly sometimes, but it's also what got us out of the oceans. You know what I mean? You know, like I've not been able to make peace with this. I'm not entirely clear. That's the ghosts in the forest. Yeah, so basically, sorry, I know I sound really distracted, don't I? I apologise. And if I watch this back and it's shit, I'm going to delete it and try again. But basically, people that are completely secure, there you go, that's actually a better way of putting it. INFJs infuriate people that aren't perfectly secure. And who is perfectly secure? I know a few people that are extremely secure 99 or 90% of the time, okay? My best friend is one of those people, and that's why we're best friends, on my side anyway, because I can't be that close to someone who isn't very secure, because for me, you know, it's abuse. You know, the abuse that I get from people that aren't perfectly secure, you know, is very, very uncomfortable. So basically, what I find is that, I mean, I've never been able to like resolve in my own mind if I used to be competitive, but I found out that it was really toxic for me. And I really didn't, I never liked it about myself when I was competitive. And of course I was raised by a narcissist, so even if it isn't, and I don't know what my real nature is. My siblings, I'm not particularly big fans of. So maybe I wouldn't have been a very nice person if my father hadn't been like a, oh shit. Well, that's this video over. Oh God. This wasn't the plan at all. This video's over, man. What a lot of shit.